Hi everyone, this is Karen Hightower, design team member for Gina K Designs. Welcome to another one of my videos. Today I'm going to be doing watercoloring. I'm going to be using the new Stippled Flower stamp set from Gina K Designs. I'll be using this flower here, and I'm going to do a happy birthday along with the two leaves that are in the set. I do have a piece of black Onyx cardstock, and I have a card base. Right now it's cut at 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. I will probably trim it down because I'm going to do a smaller birthday card. I also have my Distress Ink Antique Linen along with my stuff already mounted on a block. I do have some paintbrushes handy, some Mission Gold watercolor paints, and then I have a ceramic dish from the kitchen that I already added water to some of the colors. I'll give you the names of them as I go along. Everything I use that I can find a link for, I will put under the video. I'm going to ink this up with the Distress ink. And I'm not going to do a whole bunch. I'm just going to do one flower and one set of leaves each, because it's going to be, it takes a little while to do this. I will edit it so you don't have to watch all of it. So I've got this leaf, and I like to tuck them in these little nooks of the flower so they look like they're coming out from behind it. And you don't really have to mask this off, because when you watercolor over the Distress ink, it disappears. So that's the joy of that. Alrighty, let's get going. I'm going to paint a few of these, and I'll edit some of it out, otherwise it's a real long video. But I don't want to really speed it up because I want to be able to show you everything I'm doing. So I'm going to wet the brush. I'm going to tap it on the paper towel just to absorb the majority of the water so I don't flood it. But I'm not a professional. I just like to play. So this is what works for me. Hopefully it'll work for some of y'all. I know everybody does it different. So anyway, I like to wet the end. Otherwise, I have a hard time leaving the end lighter. I like to just add color everywhere. So let's start with a little rose madder, and then I'm going to add the color here at the base. Then I go back and pull that color. You can use any watercolor mediums you have, whatever works best for you. I did a flower in Zig Clean Color markers when I was thinking about what I was going to do exactly for this video. And of course, it all changes. But anyway, I'll show it to you. It's handy. This one I did in Zig Clean Color markers. It's a sweet little thank you note card. Did the inside and stamped the back. But this one is done with the Mission Gold watercolor. And I did that one on watercolor paper. Usually I do it on Bristol Smooth. But for some reason, I was having a hard time with my Bristol Smooth paper last time. I don't know. I might have been adding too much water or something, but it just wasn't working so great for me at the moment. Anyway, so I'm going to add a little more color. I'm just going to kind of pat it around a little bit, get it to move. Now, if you say, oh, there's too much on the end, just wet your brush. I tap off just a tiny bit, but then you can go in here and just add some water at the tip, and it makes that the pigment run back. As you can see, it's done. And then I'm going to dry off my brush on the paper towel, and I'm just going to come in here and pick up some of that water. And you'll pick up a little bit of the ink, and if you just keep going, you'll see you'll start moving the ink around again. But I just want to pick up more on the tip. I've dried off on the paper towel, pat, pick up, pat it off. There we go. So in a little bit, if that's too light, then I'll go back and add more. So let's move to the next one. I'm going to do this. And you don't ever do the one next to it, because if it's damp in any way, that pigment will run over to the other side, and then you have a blend where you really aren't wanting it. With the Illustrator lines in this and this light color ink, I have a hard time seeing it. I think, plus the angle I'm at. It's nothing to do with your eyes getting older, huh? Okay, so we're going to take that out. I'm wiping off my brush, picking up some clean water, and then I wipe it off. And then you can move the color how you want. Okay, so I'm going to go to this one over here, pick up the color, and I just paint around the petal. I'm going to wet this top part here. I'm going to pick up my darker color, and I have it wet over here on the palette, but it's not real runny wet. But these are very concentrated colors, so depending on the color you're after, you see it seeping them. I love when it does that. It's kind of mesmerizing. Okay, I picked up water, tapped it off, and it was still a little more wet, so I tapped it off a second time. Okay, I'm going to put it right there. I haven't been over here in a few minutes, so we're going to wet that, pick up the color, and we're going to go in here, and this kind of goes in and out of the center. Then I'm going to move it, oh, pat off my brush, it was more wet than I wanted. There we go. Okay, we have a few more to go. These parts that are folded over like this one here, I'm going to go up here and add, this is watered down pretty good. Add that. Then I'm going to take a clean brush and pick it up. So I want it lighter. And then the petal, folded over side. So I have this little leaf left and then this little fold over part. And then we'll do the center of the flower. And then we'll do the leaves. We can leave that flower like that. And we can go in and add some detail, which is what I'm going to do. I'm mixing the rose madder with water to get a good consistency, but once I load up my brush, I'm tapping it on the paper towel because I don't want it to be real wet. Let's do the tips. This is fun. So you load up your brush, tap off a little of the excess, and then you go in here and add the little vein. Let me get another brush. Anywhere on your petal that has a little dent in it, you know, a little mark, you can do this, or you can put one even if there isn't. So I'm going to grab some more, and it's juicy, and I'm going to tap it off on my paper towel a little bit, so when I put it down, it's not too much. And you can put as many of these in as you want, or none at all. That's up to you. All right. Also I want to share with you, Daniel Smith has a color out. It's called Shadow Violet. So I'm going to grab just a little bit of that, add to my palette, and water it down. And I'm watering it down pretty good. Tapping it off. And then I'm going to go back and add it where my petals overlap one another. Okay, so we're just going to move right along here, add in our shadows. A little shadow here. And then just go back and add a little color here and there where you feel it might need it. Because then after you do it, and you look at it, and then you're like, oh, that's lighter than it needs to be. I need a little more color there. Or, you know, you'll get the hang of it. You'll decide what you want with yours. I'm going to make this one just a little bit darker. It seems to be the brightest white of the bunch, so I want a little color to it. There we go. Okay, so we're going to make the center of the flower yellow light, nice and bright. So we're going to start on the leaves. So let me clear my water well. So let's go for our greens now. I've got sap green, hunter green, and olive green. And then I have a little bit of, I believe, burnt umber. Alright, so I'm going to go here to this big leaf, and I'm going to pretty much paint the whole leaf with water. And then I'm going to grab some of that sap green. Then I'm going to move the color around with a little water on this brush. Then I'm going to, since it's still wet, I want to add in a little bit of hunter green. And see, when it's wet, you can see it just moves really nice. So there's lots of ways. You could flood each petal and just pat in the color like I just did on this. Like I said, just practice, play with it. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit of burnt umber. Okay, while I'm waiting on this one to dry some more, I'm going to go over here and add in some details. Alright, we're almost there. So I'm going to add the little veins to this one. And I'm going to do the little niches in the leaves. Okay, so let's get some shadow color going. Okay, now that the base is all done and I have let it dry, I'm going to bend it a little bit. I did a wash of the shadow violet on the background, and then I flicked some color so it left it kind of splotchy. I'm going to do my greeting on here, but I've already cut. I'm going to mount it on the black and the innocent pink, black onyx and innocent pink, and then I've cut my card base at 4 1/4 square, so it's 8 1/2 folded. Okay, and then we have the inside done and we have the back done. And that is our final card project for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe to my channel, and you can find me over at karenscreativemess.blogspot.com, or you can find me on Facebook in the Gina K Designs Friends group, also on Instagram under Karen Hightower. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.